Welcome to Writers Speak, brought to you by writersconnect.org. Hello, I'm Bhaskar. In this edition, I will be speaking with Scream Blue Murmur, a group of 5 performance poets from Belfast, Northern Ireland. This program was recorded on July the 4th, 2008 in Singapore.
Writers Speak. Okay, my name's Shelley. I'm a poet. And I work in community arts and poetry projects back home in Belfast.
I'm Aisling. I am a teacher pretending to be a poet, and I live in Derry.
I'm Bob, and I'm a poet who has been a poet performing for around 10 years.
Gordon Hewitt sort of ended up in Belfast via Scotland, Australia, Derry, and then Belfast, and met all the people that are in Scream Blue Murmur in that situation, open mic nights and so forth. So I would say I'd write spoken word, poetry, and part of the group.
I'm Ellen Factor. I am a poet as well as the others, and I work freelance in the arts when I'm not being a poet. Because it doesn't always pay the bills.
Doesn't ever pay the bills.
So how do you guys keep your motivation up? Because I've noticed, I was reading your blogs of the MySpace links, you've done quite a bit of things. Overachievers when it comes to poets. People are usually lazy. Poets are usually a very lazy brand of human beings. So how do you guys get the energy?
That's maybe not the best question to ask 3 days after we land and where there's a bit of jet lag. I think the energy's sagging a bit at the moment. But
I think I get it because I'm quite childish.
Right.
And so when we're going to a new place, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go explore this, let's go do that. So that keeps, it probably annoys the rest of them, but, I like to go and explore and discover things. So if we're going to a new place, I'm really, really excited. Like, this is my first time in Singapore, and I've been going on about it for ages because I'm so excited and everything's so new and fantastic. So sort of when you're fired up about the place you're going to, that fires up your writing, and it's kind of like a continuous circle.
Right.
And we always try and do different things every time.
Right.
So that sort of keeps the fire going.
In the last 3 years, since we started, we've toured around Australia twice. We've been to New Zealand, Minneapolis, toured Ireland, and New York. So there's always somewhere new to go.
I think a big part of it is also creating communities where we go and finding the communities that are there and meeting people and seeing what they're doing. It gives you a lot of energy, and they seem happy for people to come in to what might be a fairly small, regular poetry event, and then to think that people are coming from somewhere else and bringing their experience, and then we're taking away experience.
The way I think about it is, we were all reading and writing poetry in Belfast and Derry, and what happened, I thought, was you came to an impasse. The choice you had was you could just keep going the same way. We didn't really see many other poets from other places. We were writing and learning by ourselves, and we were sort of feeding off each other. But you can only go so far with that. So one of the things about touring, and surprisingly, it is much easier, believe it or not, to organise to go to Australian festivals sometimes than it is to do it in your home area, because there's a sense in which these people want to come to see us, so therefore people are kind of open to it. That's certainly our experience. But I think the thing that happened from 2006 onwards, when we first toured Australia, we were exposed to different styles, different cultures, different languages, the way that people put words together in different ways. From my own view, even just last year when we came to Singapore, we were here last year, and we got to see local poets perform. You take something from everywhere you go and you sort of incorporate it into what you do. So I think the energy levels come from that continual new experiences and those continual sort of refiltering of what you see around you. I think that helps. I think it'd be very easy for people to stagnate if you just stayed where you were all the time. It's much easier, I think, to develop when you're continually being exposed to new ideas, new ways of doing things. And that's what I think we've done. That's certainly the thing that's driven us forward.
You obviously have to coordinate and plan, with your day jobs and stuff when you guys travel together. How difficult is the whole enterprise?
It's surprising with the internet and phone and MySpace. It's much easier than you would think.
Yeah, the most difficult thing is trying to get my employer to agree to let me take 5 weeks off work.
Yeah.
The the whole tour in itself is really the easy part, because it's the rewarding part, you know.
I've noticed you guys are very involved in issues that are close to your hearts, I guess. You want to use poetry as a vehicle for social change, is that fair?
Yep.
Yeah. So how have you seen the impact of your works? How have you seen it filtering out to society and changing mindsets and getting action going?
Well, we have an organisation that we've recently constituted, which is called Diverse Poets Against Racism. The organisation was actually constituted after the events that the organisation organised, such is the way of organisation.
Right.
We have held events for 2 years so far. In April of each year, we hold an international event called Love Poetry, Hate Racism.
Right.
And there have been events all across the world in April 2007 and April 2008, including in Singapore this year. 50 cities around the world across 4 or 5 continents have held events. So the idea that people can connect all across the world over one weekend, or it's starting to extend now into a week or 10 days, and that people will take the opportunity to celebrate the diversity of cultures in a location through poetry and spoken word.